This morning when I got up, I felt this feeling that maybe we should go through the whole statement of Krishnamurti and see how we can apply it practically in everyday life. And it came to me so beautifully. So when I was in bed, it's just like a voice telling me, and I saw the whole thing in front of me. But I made one mistake. I tried to memorize it. So now I'm trying to remember it exactly how it happened. And that's not the best thing to do, because it's now becoming a little bit more intellectual than it is really from the heart, the way I received it. So, but you see, the whole point is that this quote is complete. Do you understand how complete that is? Okay? What you are means getting to know what you are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then as you go through the process of elimination, in that, you'll find that you'll end up with what? What am I?
Love.
You see? And then you come back to that. I'm just here. And that here is love. And love is not an emotion. Love is being. And that being is alive. You know, Krishnamurti said something very beautiful. I just was reading the book in bed. And he said, the fact that you exist, and Ramana Maharshi said the same thing, the fact that you exist, existence itself, is the key, the mystery, and the knowledge. When he talked about, if you do not change it, this is where you can ask any questions now. How do we change what we are? By trying to be more. Because we think we lack something. We think we are missing something. And this is part of the natural state of the ego mind. It's always seeking to complete itself, not realizing it is already complete. And the whole point of something like this is to learn to appreciate the life that you are. And when you appreciate it and love it and accept it, you see that it is complete. It is complete. You know, this morning I came for breakfast, and as soon as I sat down, the gentleman in front of me, where is he now?
Over here.
Over here, oh, yeah. Sorry, I don't see the one. Okay, and I knew it was meant to be. And so I find that every moment, since I realize I'm a human being, a being playing the human role of Burt, is that there are no coincidences. Everything seems to play a part. Everything happens by itself. You know, whenever I try to remember to say something, or I try to, like I was doing when I started, I said this is amazing, it just doesn't have the juice. But when you come from the heart, it's already there. And so the one thing that's very important is to understand that the heart is the whole thing. Now when I talk about the heart, I'm talking about the very core and essence of you. Right now you're sitting there watching, listening. Okay? What is listening is the heart. If you try to figure out, if you try to make sense out of it, you've lost it. But if your heart is open and you listen, your heart understands. So this is what is alive in us. So what we need to do is simply to pay less attention to our thought processes and more to the way we feel. Because it is feeling that is the main crux of the matter. You know, yesterday when we ended the class, I saw all of you so radiant, so beautiful. You know, it was so touching. And that's exactly what I was looking for. It is not understanding the words per se. It is not trying to make sense out of them. It is to feel alive, to feel the love, to feel the joy that you are, because that is what it's all about. The reason we seek to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel complete, to feel the love, it is because we somehow think we are not complete. We believe that something is missing. How many of you sometimes feel that you're not complete? Right. Absolutely, thank you. Yeah. And even after my cold awakening experience that I'm a human being, yeah, I still kept getting moments. I had to remind myself, no, I'm a human being playing the part of Burt. You know? And what happens too that we talk, when we talk about like that you begin to think that the ego is a terrible thing and I shouldn't be the ego. And the moment you think, I shouldn't be the ego, you're being the ego. Because it doesn't matter. Sorry. It really doesn't matter. The way you are is the way you are. And to enjoy every moment of it. The way you express it, the way it comes to you, the way you are. Is the way you are. So we're not trying to alter anything or change anything, but to simply discover what you are. Before I keep going on, are there any questions at this point? Yeah.
My thing is that the universe seems to have one agenda, and the me has a different agenda, and when there's a difference, there seems to be some sort of a friction or whatever. Like sometimes it can be all perfect until the me wants something different than the universe gives me. And that seems to be a collision.
Right. The collision, what we call the collision, is always there, though. Because again, you see, we are dualistic creatures. Okay? Therefore, we are coming from both mind and heart. But the heart and mind are totally in opposition. Just like human being. You see, the difference between human being is totally opposite. Did you know that the human is always seeking the being? Always, always. There isn't a time when you're not seeking the being. But you are the being. So when you remember that and be, because being is to be, then the seeking stops. See how simple it is? So the summation of the transformation is called total acceptance. You see, there are 3 stages that most of us are in. And these 3 stages are anger, lust, and pride. Most people are in that stage. When we talk about anger, things make us very angry very easily. We get upset very easily, we get hurt very easily, because we still think we are just a body. And we are not to deny the body. The body is a wonderful thing. The body is a wonderful tool. When you own a home, you're proud of it. You're happy in it. When you own a car, you're proud of it. Why not be proud of what you own? Your body. You see? And so your body is also part of your expression, because it carries with it all the energies and memories and habit patterns and everything. It's memory. That's what it is. Every cell of you is a memory. The pain that we carry from childhood is also the memory. But it's also a learning device. We can learn from it. It teaches us all the time. Because the first 6 years of our life we carry with us for the rest of our lifetime. So anger is a very natural part. But anger is not a bad thing if you turn anger into love. Why? Because anger is a need for control. A need to have your own way. Because you feel you're not getting your own way. That's why we argue. You know? But if you allow yourself and to look at it, to see it, it can teach teaches something very beautiful. Because all you're doing is seeking love, is seeking self-acceptance. You want to feel okay. You want to just be. See? And then we go into lust. Lust is very common. You know, I've had so many letters, especially from young men, who are pornographic addicts. And they said, why is it I'm so restless, I'm so tired and I'm bored? And I said, because when you watch pornography, you masturbate. And I said, whenever you masturbate, you create a hole in you, a hole in your energy field, and lose self-respect. The masturbation itself is not wrong, but the thing is that you indulge yourself in being a body that you don't lay respect to your whole being. You see, you become body conscious, and you're more than a body. So this is the key. This is our sexual lust. And there is lust for food. See, we eat more than the body requires. But the reason we give in to food that is not good for us, it is because we are lonely. We do not love who we are. So we gain weight and we don't feel good. Okay, so these are the addictions that come from lust. Or lust to have. I can never have enough. You know, more money, more this, more that. You know, we're never satisfied because we think we can add to ourselves not realizing that you are complete. Every moment is complete. So that's the last part. And then the L-U-S-T, last part. And then the next one is pride. Now this is something that I've seen in many spiritual seekers, the pride. You know, we follow a teacher or a master or whatever, and we don't want it to deviate from what we've learned. You see, and the point is you are the master. You see, and if something doesn't seem to comply, doesn't go along, don't deny it or fight it, but prove it to yourself, live it through experience. Because you can experience every word that I'm saying by being in touch with being. You see that you are a human being. The human is always seeking the being. How many of you have realized that? You're always seeking the being. And the being is. You see? Do you know how the being is love? Love means that everything that you do that you love is being you. Is being the way you're meant to be. You like cycling or mountain climbing or hiking or running or reading or enjoying being alone or being in company. It doesn't matter. The way you are is the way you're meant to be, to express and to respect it, to love it, to enjoy it. Some people are very private. Some people are more extrovert. Some are introvert. Many are ambivert. You know, and it's all perfect. Because the way you are is the way you need to be. The pride part comes in when you begin to think that you know something other people don't know. You begin to think that what you believe and what you're following is better than anything else. My church is better than other churches, my belief is better than other people. You see, this is pride. It's also part of our human structure. But when the pride falls away, then comes courage. And this is what I'd like to talk about. See, courage doesn't come until the pride is you're willing to let go of it. The pride that you know something other people don't know, that they don't follow the way you like to follow. You see, you have a set way of looking at things. That's pride too. Yeah.
We were talking to some over dinner yesterday about when you see somebody suffering and you feel like you want to help them. Is that the pride?
No, that's not pride. That's the natural love of you reaching out.
But sometimes they don't want to hear what you're saying.
Oh, well, you're not to try to convince other people. You can only
Yeah, but you
teach
see
other
them
people
suffer,
by being the love you are. Was that?
But if you see them suffering, you think, well, this helped me, so if you read this book or do this, it helped me, so maybe it might help you, and then they might look at
It doesn't really work that way.
Because then isn't that you're trying to put them on your path? but
That's
they're on their own
exactly
path.
it. Thank you. You're trying to put them on your path because you've learned something and think that this is the way it is. Well, there's no such thing as this is the way it is.
But part of you wants to help them too, because you see them suffering.
If it's sincere, then you can help them by being you. And being you is total acceptance of you. When you have a total acceptance of you, you automatically accept the other. Because there is no division between you and another. Always remember that. That what you feel about yourself is you feel about another. See, there is no difference at all. That's quite something to realize. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
But that's different than attachment.
That's not attached at all.
Yeah.
Because when you're loving you, totally loving you, which means self-respect, okay, that is not an ego thing at all. That is simply appreciating life. I am life. I am alive. And this is the way life wants me to be. The way I am is perfect. You see? And to really appreciate that. That appreciation is not ego at all. Ego is a false sense of self. Now when that premise begins to fall away, this pride begins to fall away, you begin to have courage. Courage is the one thing that is very, very essential. Because many people write me and they talk about it. They say, why is it, Burt, you make it sound so simple to deal with my fear, and the moment it comes, all I want to do is run away from it, or shut it off. Okay, that's also a natural part of your escape. But you see, when you have courage, there is a part of you that says, this is going to teach me something. Once you say that to yourself during the fear, that's courage. You see? Courage is the ability to face that which seems to hurt you, that seems to go against your flow, so to speak, in a moment. But you look at it, and fear is the other side of love. Fear is a call for love. And everything that is negative, you see, there are two emotions only. Love or fear. Love is all that is beautiful and good and right with the world, and fear is everything that is against that. But we have both working. The fear is essential to teach us to see the other side. Because fear means it is what I am not looking at. You see? It is what I am refusing to see. That becomes the fear. Are there any questions at all? Because this is a very important part. Yeah.
You mentioned courage. Could that also be called trust or faith?
Yes. Very good. And again, like I was saying, everything that is love, everything that is good, is all love. Okay? So courage is love, trust, love, right?
Burt, you just said a moment ago that the fear shows us what we're not looking at. So I just, because I've had lots of issues with anxiety, the anxiety can attach to lots of things. They can attach to driving or,
Oh, yes.
all kinds of things. So I want to make this real for me.
Anxiety is a need for protection, which
Yes.
is a form of love too.
Right.
Okay, but it wants to protect you. It wants to protect you from people hurting you,
Yes.
from being embarrassed, from being vulnerable. But the point is, if you're vulnerable, what's wrong with that? Allow yourself to be vulnerable, and that can be a teacher.
Okay.
So in other words, anxiety is trying to protect you from being vulnerable, but the vulnerability is what you need at the moment to expose yourself. You see, to say to life, it's okay to be afraid and to be vulnerable and to feel all these things.
Okay.
And the moment you say, I'm okay, I accept it, that very acceptance itself is the courage.
So if I say I'm saying to myself, I'm feeling anxious about the drive home.
The drive home, yeah.
Yeah, the drive home. So then,
Okay, so now as you're driving, you're anxious, right?
I'm
Maybe
driving,
I
I'm
better do
anxious
it.
thinking about it. I'm not even in the
You're
car
anxious
yet,
thinking
and I'm
about it.
anxious thinking about it.
Okay, right now. Okay, right now. Think about driving home.
Okay.
Oh, what's happening? Tell me, please.
Anxious.
What's happening?
Anxious, getting lost, missing the ferry, anxious,
Okay.
tight chest. Yeah.
Are you feeling in your chest?
Oh yeah.
Put your hands on your chest right now. Okay. Take a deep breath. And feel it. Feel that anxiety. And say, it's okay, I love you. It's okay because it's teaching me something very strong. And you accept it. See, it is that simple. Acceptance is a miracle. Okay, right now, from 1 to 10, 10 is very, very anxious. How anxious are you right now from 1 to 10?
I'm
Right
about
now.
3.
Hmm?
I'm
3.
about 3.
Very good, okay.
Yeah, I'm about 3. It's when I
Okay,
anticipate.
so this is all you do. That's all you do. Now that doesn't mean the anxiety goes off right away, but you faced it.
Yes.
So next time it will be less and less and less, until there comes a moment when you say, oh my gosh, what was I anxious about? So that's called the growth process, the expansion process. This is called loving you, okay? Because you faced that which you feared. Okay, and what we fear again is vulnerability, the danger to ourselves, to our survival, to our beingness. Yeah.
But isn't vulnerability the only way to self, the only path to self?
What is?
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, vulnerability
You can't
is
get around
what everybody is afraid of, afraid to be vulnerable. You
Which
see?
is to be
I wonder
totally
what
open.
people will think of me. I wonder, you know, are they talking about me? I'm afraid of what, yeah, this is it, because we are all in a relationship all the time. We don't realize it, you know. See, right now we are talking about the relationship itself, so we are facing and looking at things. But ordinarily in everyday life, we carry this anger, we carry this, we carry that. We are in relationship, but we are in relationship on a negative way rather than the positive. But we are always in relationship. What will people think of me? Did I do the right thing? The guilt, the shame, the fear, is all part of that vulnerability that you are in relationship all the time with all humanity. Every time you don't like a race or a particular person, you diminish yourself within that. Because you are everyone. You see? Yeah.
So, how do you gain more courage?
More courage? By, for example, what we did right now. Okay? She said, I am anxious. It took courage for her to tell me about it, the driving home. You are very open about it. So expose, if something is making you uncomfortable, expose it. You know, feel it. And immediately you feel it in the body. You always feel things in the body. I'm the kind of person that if I get an anxiety, I get clammy hands. Some people feel it in the stomach, some people feel it in the chest. Okay? You get in touch with it and accept it. And that's what's happening. Well, the moment you accept what is happening, okay?
Don't mind me.
Okay. Oh, was that in the way? Okay.
He wasn't accepting what was happening.
Hmm?
He wasn't accepting what was happening.
Yeah, accepting what is
He
happening.
wasn't accepting what was happening.
Oh. Yes?
Seems to me, what's becoming clearer, maybe not, and what I'd appreciate if you could sort of clarify it, is that what the process of courage is looking like to me now is that we do it within ourselves. So this vulnerability place is, I think the reason why I am nervous about being vulnerable is because I was taught to speak about it out there.
Mhm.
But what I think
And
you're
people
saying,
think less of you if you
yeah,
tell them your
this
weakness.
judgment of
That's
this, oh,
vulnerability.
what a loser, whatever they're thinking, what they may not be thinking it, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking it. But to internalize it, to work it through with the higher self.
That's right.
Feel it.
Now, when you use words like that, always be attentive to work it with the higher self.
Yeah,
Are you understanding clearly what are you saying, what you're saying?
I think so.
Okay? Because when we talk about the higher self, the moment you say the higher self, you've
Yeah, yeah.
detached yourself from the higher self.
Oh.
Okay?
Don't
You
hold
are
it.
the higher self.
Okay, right.
You are complete. You're not achieving anything. You're not attaining anything. Okay? You are. Okay. And so, but we become vulnerable because we don't think we are. You see? So always see. See, the thing is, the see. Now when I say see, I don't talking about eyes because I don't see that well. But seeing through the heart. Okay? By seeing that there's nothing to be added. So, and always, you're always okay. However you feel, it's always okay. That's called love, the growth of love, the expansion of love. And it's all about love. If we were to say, what is God? Immediately, God is love. Yeah.
So we have a question regarding being in the presence of others, because we're always in relationship with others. So say we're in relationship with others that are very controlling or they're very angry. Are there any suggestions of how to relate other than setting pure love? Because it's a practical
You're setting
thing.
pure love the moment you accept them because they are that way, because they can't help it.
Exactly, so that's really
Okay?
the process.
And they
isn't it?
become very angry because they cannot deal with their anger and thinking that their anger is wrong, but they cannot control it. They cannot control the control. Do you understand? See, this is what happens is that whenever you're angry, you're not happy that you're angry. You're angry at being angry. And then you're afraid of being with people, that they'll find out that you're angry, and then they think, oh, they're going to ostracize me because oh, she's strange or whatever. So this mind is going through all this process. Well, what if you become aware of this anger and don't try to get rid of it, don't try to do anything, just say that there's something I need to look at right now, that I'm creating. You see?
I understand. With the other person, though, you can't. You cannot.
You cannot
You can't
control
control
them.
anything about other people. So all you can do is send them love and understand their
Right. And how
have
do you send
compassion
love?
for them.
How
for
do you
their-
send love?
Sorry.
How do you send love?
Oh, just pure compassion for their situation. We're part
That's
of.
right. If they're angry, that's right. They're angry at the moment that there is some situation that is bothering them, some trouble, maybe their health,
Empathy.
physical, mental. Yeah,
Yeah. Understand there's a reason.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And that's something love, right? And the moment you accept them, that doesn't mean you want to be in their company at the moment. It's okay to walk away, you know.
But we have to be at times. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, right. But you see, the moment you accept them, you've accepted yourself. It always comes back to you how you feel. You're not walking away because you don't like them. You're walking away because to be in that energy is not conducive to your own health at this moment unless you can help them. See, it's all part of, yeah. Relationship always relates to you. You are the one. You are the universe itself. You are complete. Yeah.
So, to that point, I often think, well, I couldn't, I mean, if I think, oh, that person's really angry, or for example, my husband can oftentimes get very sad and depressed, and it's like, is he depressed, or am I putting that label on him? You know, just because he's not responding to me in
Most
the way
of the
that I
time
want
we
him
put
to.
labels how
Exactly.
things should be.
Exactly. I want him to
Yeah.
respond to me over breakfast you know, with the same energy that I have, and it's and so then I
But
label
you
it.
see, the energy that you have, I have to point that out,
Yeah,
is that you're judging him.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying is that
Right. So, right.
the awareness of
If
the
you allow
judgment.
him to be the way he is, you'll find him begin to change.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not changing him, you're
Mhm.
accepting him
Yeah,
by accepting yourself.
yeah. So it's for me to look at my judgment.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We're always judging. You see,
Yeah.
the nature of the mind is constant judgment.
Yeah.
And judgment is not wrong if you look at it, if you see it for what it is.
So I can leave his negativity, what I label as negativity, alone, and
Yeah, the negativity is always a need for you to look at, to learn from.
Mhm.
It is when we run away from it, when we hate ourselves for hating ourselves, when we're angry for being angry. This is what creates the complexity of the human ego.
Mhm.
This is what creates insanity, you know. Yeah. Insane behavior, because the ego can become very insane. Because it fights itself.
Mhm.
You see, I shouldn't be this way. It's always, always doing the opposite of love. Yeah.
I have a question. We were talking a bit about this yesterday. It's kind of along the lines of what you're talking about with the person with the negativity, but it's a little bit different. I think one of sort of people who are some of our greatest teachers are people with disability, or at least what we
Very good.
label as a disability,
That's right.
what we determine to be
Less.
a less than. Or,
That's
yeah.
how we
And-
see it,
and
yeah.
So, okay, so for example, you know, I've worked with a lot of children who have autism. And autism is fascinating because, you know, a child who is, you know, what they call very autistic is nonverbal, and he doesn't engage with, you know, others as we, you know, see as normal or as we label as acceptable within this society and this conditioning. And then the sort of the impulse of everyone is to then fix that,
Mhm.
right? For example, a child with, you know, autism can sit and look at the texture of this carpet and stroke the carpet for hours and just do that over and over
That's
and
the
over
world,
again.
you see, yeah.
Yes, and,
Yeah.
and what
Do you
I
understand autism a little
see
bit?
there is that
Yeah.
presence
Yeah.
is that they are completely in the oneness. And that, okay, so then we are trying to bring them out of that.
Mhm.
So then is that,
Now what happens when you try to bring an autistic child out of their world?
oh, they usually are so
Absolutely.
upset,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But then are we, I'm not really sure, I struggle with that because
An
then,
autistic child is not suffering, you know.
yeah,
They are in their world, but they need to be kept in their world. Their world is totally different than ours. Their understanding is totally different. But we need to accept that. That's the way they are. That's the way they need to be in this particular lifetime, because that's what the lesson they have to go through.
so then what if it's doing damage to their body or to their self, their physical, because I mean, in a lot of times they'll
There
bang
are,
their
there
head
are
against
ways
the
of,
wall.
yeah, there
or
are
the-
ways of
yeah.
helping that does not intrude into their world. You know, this is where the study would be very important. To study
Yeah,
autism.
and a lot of the new research is showing that we used to believe that a child with autism didn't have empathy, but the newer research is showing that they actually have an excess of empathy, that they are over empathetic
That's right.
than
And sometimes
what
they
we
have
consider
talents that are
average.
absolutely mind-boggling.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, but it is interesting because it challenges our concept of what our conditioning is, because we say, you know, you have to say hello and you have to make eye contact and you have to talk to me and you have to sit in a
These
classroom.
are
and you
ideas to
have to-
live from, right?
Right? And then we see someone like this and it's totally beyond our understanding and our
Mhm.
realm of what we consider to be acceptable in a society.
Right.
It's the opposite of what we're doing. I mean, we want to essentially uncondition ourselves, which we are not going to try to do, but, and then here we are trying to condition these children with
That's true.
autism.
Yes.
So what are we doing?
Yes. Well, this is the thing about society, you see. We are a collective society that says this should be, this shouldn't be.
Yeah.
We create rules and become very destructive. That's why wars happen,
Yeah.
so much suffering happens. But there's no such thing as how things should be. It's only how things are.
We do try to condition everybody, though, not just
Yes, yeah.
patients or children. I mean, you know, your husband or wife comes home late. Why are you late?
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be late. You're trying to condition them to come home on time the next time.
Yeah. Well, we're sticklers for rules, you know. And sometimes when people wake up to the spirituality, they become a little bit different because they don't follow rules as such. But at the same time, they are loving, so they stick with the rules because they have respect for the people. Not because they are comfortable with the rules, but they accept them. You see? And that's the difference. It is love that is important here. So they stick to the rules because they love the people who created those. But inside you are free. Rules are man-made. You are free though. See? And to respect that freedom. And after courage, and do you understand now what courage is? Courage is to face what is. Facing means it is all okay. Whatever is happening is okay. That's courage. It's facing it, not running away, not refusing it, not rejecting it. And this is why when I gave you that quote of Krishnamurti is to have it with you, to carry it always, is to remember it, because it is so complete.
So acceptance and judgment are almost opposites.
Yeah. Because they try to change what you are.
Acceptance, like I can accept most things.
Accept it, yeah.
But then sometimes something comes up, like tomorrow I might have to get up and go to work in the slaughterhouse and I don't feel like going to, do that, let's say. So I feel kind of, it's against, I feel, so there's always that sort of anger or, not acceptance, judgment,
Right, right. Because you feel you're doing something you really don't want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well this is with all of us. But the point is, we think in terms of love. For example, okay, you have relatives that your wife and children and everything else love to visit, but you simply do not like his relative. Okay? But for the peace of everything and everyone, you love them so much that you simply take, it's okay. You know what I mean? So it's not really a sacrifice, you're doing it out of love. And the moment you do that, you find it isn't as bad as you thought it was. You became more flexible.
Okay.
So, a little bit about
And sometimes that can even turn out to be a good time. Like,
exactly.
I was
Yeah,
saying-
because you become open.
I think there was a monk that said if you want to have your greatest spiritual test, go home for the holidays.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Because when you return to your mother or father or siblings, you go back to your conditioning, and it reminds you of how you didn't like yourself at that point. So now you're being reminded and kind of relive it. But that is a lesson for you to learn too, and see how much you've changed, which is wonderful.
Takes a lot of courage to.
Yeah. That's where courage comes in. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what comes after courage? Total acceptance. Total acceptance. The moment, for example, the moment you accept something without any hope of change, it changes. When my eyes started getting bad and they told me I'm going blind, my glaucoma was creating so much pressure, my peripheral vision was going. If I believed them, I would be blind now. But I accepted my condition without any hope of it changing, and my eyes improved. Now I can function as if I can see as well as anybody else. See, through acceptance. So acceptance is magical. Acceptance is very healing. Give up any hope of something changing that you want to change. Okay, now this goes against some psychology here when I say give up hope. But please feel it, okay? Don't accept my words just because I say it. When you give up hope, you become presently in total acceptance of what is. And that very acceptance itself brings the change. Hope always gives you edgy, you know. I hope it will change. I hope it will be different. You're living in the future. You're not living now.
But in society, hope is one of those things that you consider good. Hope is, it's up there, it's pedestalized. Hope is a good thing to have. Hope.
We're always thinking it's going to be out there.
Yeah, but hope is a real reward. It's a.
That's right.
Like they live with hope. The only reason they're alive is because they have hope. Like, it seems like it's a very positive thing, whereas you're saying it's kind of a negative thing.
It is negative, yeah. Because you are living in the future. You see, there's another thing, and you don't have to accept it at this point as I say it, but you can investigate it. There's no such thing as time. So when we talk about future, we are simply kidding ourselves. The future is simply a continuation of this moment. Okay, that's all it is. There's only now, this moment itself. And this moment has no beginning and no end. There's never a time when you were not. It blows your mind, but you can realize it. You can see it. Yeah.
I was thinking that hope is springs from a sense of lack.
Yes.
Yes.
I hope it will change. I hope it will be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But you can act as if it's already better, so to speak, now. You see, by accepting it, right? Yeah. So total acceptance is what brings transformation. Now, what is it that transforms?
Your mind.
Okay. What happens?
Stop seeking.
Stop seeking, and what else?
You respond from the heart instead of the mind.
You're at peace.
The mind becomes still.
Yes.
And it stops creating waves out there.
Yes. It doesn't. What difference does it make? It's only the mind. It's a conditioned mind, right?
So is it really the ego merging with the true self again, once you've removed all conditioning?
It doesn't merge with the ego because you see, pardon the words here, but there's never been an ego. Ego is just an idea that we have. And ego is the idea that we are other than what we really are. That's all ego is. Ego is a false premise, an illusion, thinking that we are this identity, the conditioned identity, this enneagram that we think we are. I'm brought up believing this way, and now I think that this is who I am. That's ego. You see?
So then it's not even the annihilation of the ego.
No. There's no annihilation of anything. There's simply a transformation. Okay? That's all it is. You are love. And you see only love. You see love even in shit. Pardon the expression. Because that means there was mucus in the body, toxicity, and it's released. Isn't it wonderful? You know, there was a time when they called a woman's period, you know, the curse. How many of you remember? And it's one beautiful thing. The menstrual period is a wonderful thing. Because it is the body itself protecting you, generating you, purifying you. You see? So everything is perfect as it is, if you just look at it and stay away from any religious belief saying this is a sin and this is wrong and this is this. Because that's what narrows you, that's what makes you small.
Is it safe to say that when you're in pure awareness, the ego disappears?
Yes. You find it's
Self.
never been there.
But when the me is there, pure awareness seems to disappear.
Yes.
Seems to.
Yeah. Let's talk about pure awareness now. Okay? Which, of course, you can talk about. But the heart can understand. I call pure awareness the quantum space. If I talk about awareness, I'll never stop because I'm totally in love with it. You see? Pure awareness is, well, first of all, it's self-recognizing. As I said before, ask anybody in the world, how do you know you exist? And they say, of course I know. And they say, but how do you know? They say, because I am aware I exist. You see, awareness is the existing part. And then the form is simply the consciousness that has formed around it. Just like a spider weaves a web from itself. Everything, see, in psychology you learn that everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. The trees, the grass, your clothes, birds, animals, everything is consciousness. And it all came from that 0 point, which is called pure awareness, pure being. That pure being is love. But we think of love as something emotional, something romantic, which it is. It's also part of it, but a very small part of it. But love is that feeling of aliveness. Everything is okay. Wow. You know, Sivia and I were coming back from breakfast and heard the words, the birds singing in the trees, and it's just so beautiful. Just to feel it. That's love, listening, you see? Sometimes when we don't have that love, we're so engrossed in our own mind, we don't even see the beauty that's around us. Did you know that everything is beautiful? Now, quantum space is, see, everything is space. The space in the room, for example, okay, is created by these 4 walls. But this space itself, when the 4 walls are removed, it joins with all other space. Excuse me. Okay, everything is space. We create space by structuring around it. Now, the same thing that the body formed around our space, which is pure awareness, consciousness, gave us the body. The body is made up of trillions and trillions of cells. These cells cannot be seen by the human eye, but it's intelligent. It knows what to do. It has own intelligence. Do you know how intelligent the body is? We had breakfast this morning. You eat, you drink, and it knows what to do. You don't do anything. Excuse me. It's doing everything, feeling everything. Now, when you are negative, you're out of alignment with your body, and your body suffers. So you can feel different, feelings of discomfort.
Who's negative? Who is negative?
What is negative?
Yeah, what?
Very interesting. It's going against the alignment of the universe, going against that which is.
Is that a choice?
Well, you see, in truth, you have no choice. No. Negativity is part of what will teach you that is not working. So negativity, in a way, is a good lesson. It's telling you this doesn't work. So all the time you're learning what doesn't work when you listen. That is your greatest teacher.
I guess I have a hard time separating negativity from the concept of right and wrong, because that's my conditioning. So,
Yeah, and there is no right and wrong.
yeah.
That's a big one.
That's hard. That's
Yes.
hard to understand.
It's hard to understand. Yeah. Right and wrong is nothing more than the creation of the mind. Making one thing against another. In oneness, non-duality. Right and wrong don't exist. Even cause and effect don't exist. Even human beings don't exist. They merge. See, everything is one. But it's up to us to learn from the shadow. Because when you walk around outside in the sun, you create a shadow. You can get rid of it. If you try to run away from your shadow, you get exhausted and it's still there, following you. Okay? Well, that's what we call the negative. The negative is always there because we somehow yet are not in tune with what truly is. And what truly is,
We talked a few minutes ago about when there was a transformation and we realized that the ego never existed. It was never there. Well, now we're no longer aware of the ego. So how can we protect ourselves from bringing it back? Or thinking,
why do you need to protect yourself, and why do you need to bring it back? If you realize there is no ego, what is it that you want to bring back? There's no longer a you to do that.
Right, I don't want to bring it back.
And when I say there is no longer you, how many of you understand this? Because it's frightening, and I realized that. I know I was frightened when I thought I was going to lose my ego until I realized what ego, my false identity was. Yeah.
Is it that sense of complete aloneness?
Well, not alone. Yeah, complete aloneness, you see, is a very positive thing in truth, because we're all alone. But when you talk about alone, the mind doesn't understand it. It thinks of you being alone.
Mm-hmm.
But alone is, here we are, all alone.
Yeah.
You are everyone.
All one.
And you is all there is. You're always you. When you were a baby, had a baby form, and it was you. Then you became a child, learned to walk, looked in the mirror, and you said, oh, I got a body. You begame to identify with the body. It's still you. And then you become a teenager. You know it all. And it's still you.
So
and then you become a man and a woman, different body, different mind, different everything. It's still you. Who is this you? I don't know. But I know that it's who I am. I'm aware. That's you. That is never lost because that was never born. And it is never, not only never born, it cannot die because it never existed. It is existence itself. You are. It's so beautiful. And I hope that when you go away after this retreat, you will never forget that. You are eternal. Nothing can happen to you. You always are. When I almost died in hospital, I had an experience that made me see what really is happening, and it's so beautiful. And I had a smile on my face throughout. One doctor came over to me, and he was angry. And he said to the others, he's an idiot. Really? Because, remember that? Sivia was with me. Anyway, see, there is still this part of me. I'm talking about myself now, as if I'm real. And what is happening? I'm losing my voice.
Yeah.
Do you notice?
Yes.
You see how it works? But I become aware of it immediately. I know what I'm doing. Okay? Because if I talk about myself, there's a part of me that believes it to be real.
And is there a judgment? Is there still
Well,
a judgment
I still judged it as Burt happening to... Yeah, I still made Burt real.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
And then the pain starts.
Was that?
The pain starts.
And the discomfort comes.
Yeah.
The body tells you right away. The body. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it is all amazing. It's all a miracle. It's so beautiful, and it's creating all this. The very infinite intelligence itself. Yeah.